What's up, everybody? My name is Scott Paddock, and today I'm going to show you a really simple trick for counting odd meters. When it comes to talking about odd meters or odd time signatures in music, there is a ton of music theory that we can talk about. We can talk about simple and compound meters. We can talk about duple and triple meters, but it's all really confusing. And if you think about it in this really simple way that I'm getting ready to show you, it's going to make everything crystal clear. So when it comes to music groupings, we like to group things that are divisible by twos or threes. So we like things that are grouped together in twos or threes. When we have the most common meter signature of 4/4, that top 4 is telling us that there are 4 beats in a measure, and the bottom 4 is telling us that a quarter note gets 1 beat. Now that top 4 is the one we want to concentrate on right now. So a 4 is definitely divisible by 2, so this is going to be really easy to count, and it's going to sound good and feel good when we play it. So if we're counting 4/4 time, it would just sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Pretty simple. That feels really good. Most music is written in 4/4 time, so we feel really good in 4/4 time. We could also think about it in eighth notes: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Pretty simple, right? The same thing applies for sets of 3. So if we are in 3/4 time, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it feels really natural. We can also do that in 6/8 time, which is 2 sets of 3, but the 8th note is getting a beat, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, when I say 4, 5, 6, you can feel that that's another grouping of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that all makes sense, and to our ears, it sounds really good. If you're watching this video, I'm assuming that you want to get a lot better at playing and interpreting music. If that's the case and you're a saxophone player, I would like to invite you into my world at the Scott Paddock Sax School. At the Sax School, I've got courses that cover just about anything you want to learn how to do on the saxophone. From beginner sax all the way up into specialty courses like altissimo or funk improv. We cover overtones. If you're an intermediate saxophone player or early intermediate saxophone player, I teach you how to interpret songs, bring out the dynamics, the articulations. I take you step by step into becoming a much better saxophone player. Now, when we get into an odd meter like 5/4, which is probably going to be the first one that you run into, especially if you're a saxophone player, because the song Take 5 is in 5/4, and as saxophone players, at some point, we are going to learn that song. So when you see 5/4, it's not divisible by 3 or 2. So if you just count to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it just feels weird. And music is very rarely written with just thinking about those 5 beats all together. So what you want to do, and this is your little simple trick for making counting odd meters really easy, is you want to break it up into sets of 3 and 2. Sets of 3 and 2. So if we have 5 beats in a measure because we're in 5/4, that means you would have 1 set of 3 and 1 set of 2. So instead of thinking 1 set of 5, you're going to think 1 set of 3 and 1 set of 2, because 3 plus 2 equals 5. So it's going to sound like this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So that's going to make the music line up a lot easier. And if I bring out just the strong beats, which would be beat 1 of the 1, 2, 3 and beat 1 of the 1, 2, you're going to feel it and it's going to sound even better. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now, of course, that could also be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can think of it as 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, strong beat 4, 5. But you want to break it up into a set of 3 or a set of 2. Now, you can also reverse that grouping. So instead of going 3 and then 2, you can go 2 and then 3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Since we have 2 options to choose from, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, how do we know which one to use in a specific song? So for each song, it's going to be pretty easy to figure out if you just listen to the song or you look at the way the music is written, because they're going to be grouped in sets of 3 and 2 or sets of 2 and 3. So for this example, we are going to take a listen to take 5, and we're going to figure out whether we have a set of 3 followed by a set of 2, or if it starts off with a set of 2 followed by a set of 3. So let's take a listen. We're going to start off counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and see how that lines up with the music. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. To me, that feels really good because at the end of every measure, you have 2 quarter notes. So if you have 2 quarter notes, that's telling you that it's a grouping of 2. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. I'm going to try to sing it, but if you've watched my videos, you know I'm a terrible singer, but I'm going to do my best. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Boo-da, boo-da, bop, bop, boo-da, boo-da, bop, bop, boo-da, boo-da, bop, bop, boo-da, boo-da, bop, bop. Now beats 4 and 5, or the grouping of 1 and 2, is really strong. So I'm going to clap both of those and just clap 1 for the 1, 2, 3. Boo-da, boo-da, bop, bop, boo-da, boo-da, bop, bop, boo-da, boo-da, bop, bop. So you can hear that bop, bop. The 4, 5 is definitely a grouping of 2. Now I'm going to put the backing track on, and this time I'm going to count 2 plus 3. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and you're going to hear how that doesn't line up at all. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. That was hard to count like that, and it just feels awkward. It doesn't line up with what's going on in the music. So if you listen to the music, oftentimes you're going to be able to figure out whether the grouping of 3 is first or the grouping of 3 is second. Now, you can also look at the music if you have sheet music, and if we take a look at take 5, we can see that it starts off with 8th notes on beats 4 and 5. So that's clearly a grouping of 2. Then if you look at 6 of the measures in the A section, you can see that they all start off with a dotted half note, which gets 3 beats. So that's absolutely a grouping of 3 beats. So when you listen to the music and you look at the music, it's really easy to figure out what the groupings are. But when you are playing in odd meters, you want to think about how things line up with a grouping of 2 and a grouping of 3. Take a listen to me playing a little bit of take 5, and feel free to clap along so that you can really feel that meter signature and how the groupings of 3 and 2 are lining up. The time signature of 5/4 is probably where you're going to run into odd meters the most, but that also applies to 5/8, but instead of thinking about quarter notes, you're thinking about 8th notes. And everything also applies to 7/4 or 7/8. So if we're in 7/4, we have to figure out how the groupings of 2 and the groupings of 3 go together. So for 7/4, we would have 2 groupings of 2 and 1 grouping of 3. So the first grouping that you could think of for 7/4 would be 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we have a grouping of 2, a grouping of 2, and a grouping of 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Or you could think the grouping of 3 first and 2 groupings of 2 after that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Or you can put the grouping of 3 in the middle, and that's going to get a little bit harder to count, but you could have a grouping of 2, a grouping of 3, and then a grouping of 2. So that'd be 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Gets a little crazy, but if you break everything down into groupings of 2s and 3s, when you're playing in odd meters, it's going to be a whole lot easier. Thanks for taking the time to check out this video. If you'd like to dive deeper into my saxophone world, I'd like to invite you to check out the Paddock Sax School, where I will take you through a step-by-step process of becoming a better saxophone player.